So I'm just going to show you really quick here how to do a COVID test on yourself. Okay, I got two different kinds of test kits here. I think these ones are way easier to use. These antigen tests, I'll do them. I'll do an example of this one at a later time. This one I'm going to do right now. I'll add this one onto the end of the video when I do this one in a couple of days. Just to confirm, because last I checked, I had a positive test, so I do got COVID-19. So I'll just, these days it's just like the flu, I guess. So these ones I think are more of a pain in the ass. These ones are from Abbott. Pardon the language. You got a cotton swab here and a really long cotton swab. I'm not sticking it that far up your nose. You got this, which I already just ripped open. I just put it in the bag to get here to the bathroom to show you guys so I can film it. You got one of these plastic tubes in there. Now there was two of these because there was two test kits in here. And basically they're 15-minute test kits. Works like this. Let me pull out the instructions here. I'll show you how this stuff works. Yeah, wash your hands because you don't want to infect yourself first, right? Okay, so anyway, well, that's not even in English. Let's go to the English language here on this side. All right, so basically what they do is you take that cotton swab out of its container, out of its packing, you swirl it around in your nose, make sure you rub it up against the sides. You know, it's not bad if you could get some snot on there. It's all right. It's better if you have a dry nose. You know, probably maybe wet that nose so some of them boogies do come out on there so you get a good test reading. You usually get a false test reading if you got a dry nostril. So you got to try to get that a little bit, some of that stuff in there. Okay, and then I'll show you what this is, how these instructions work. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck. The important part we got to look at here is what the reading looks like, how to tell if you got a positive test or not. Okay, so you've got your control line, and then you've got your line that tells you whether you're infected or not. Now with this test kit, it shows you this one, whether you have a dark line there or if you have a faint line, it's a positive test. That kind of sucks. You can barely see these lines. They show you a couple examples. These are all positive. You can barely see that bottom line on these, but that's still a positive test. Okay, if you have no line there, well, then it's negative. Okay, you need that control line to show up though in order for you to know the test is working. All right, so take them, put that crap off to the side. This is that Binax Now by Abbott. Okay, so this is what we do. So what's in here? Garbage. Okay, so basically you open it up, you lay it down on the pink side. So when it's after you take the test, you put the swab in there, you let it sit like this. You got to close it and seal it. You see there's some two-sided tape here. You're going to peel that off. You're going to close it, squeeze it in there. Squeeze it on these, well, you'll see two lines over here, two red lines. Just squeeze them at those points right here along that tape. And then you lay it flat and you let it wait for 15 minutes. So, and you got to first check, make sure there's a blue line there to start off with, okay? Don't go touching it, rubbing your fingers on it. Okay, so let's start off with opening it up. After you get the cotton swab, you're going to stick it in through here and through that one. You can put a couple drops into here, into this first one. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So, how does this work? You're just gonna, they don't even make it easy to get this out. I turn it to the side that doesn't have the swab on it. Just go like that and just punch it through the plastic. And then pull it out. Okay, but before you pull it out, I'm going to do this. How does this work? Just, it's kind of like a snap vial. Bend it back and forth and the vial will snap, and then you twist it. And you see it's basically like a water that's in there. And you're gonna take this and you're gonna put at least 4 drops. It says 4 drops. We'll put 4 or 5 drops there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they said if you don't put at least 4 drops there, it won't work. Okay, so that's enough. They got plenty more water or whatever the hell's in there. Now we take this out, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, so take that out like that. And then let me reverse this camera a bit so you can see how this is going to work. All right, so now you take this part and you go, I'm rubbing it against the edges of my nostrils there. I'm just rubbing it around in there really good. You got to get both nostrils. Get it out of one, go to the other. Blew my nose first. Pick that in dry boogies. Make sure you get a good sample on there. I do got a good sample. I could see some boogies on there. I'm not going to share you. I'll spare you from that. Now, back to the test kit here. Okay, so what are we going to do here? So now, go here, you stick that in one side, goes to the other, and you got to spin it. So I'm just spinning this while I'm pushing down a little bit, make sure getting it in there good. Spinning it, and then you just leave it in there. You remove this part here. You see the 2 red lines over here? Well, that's the place where the glue is. You're going to turn over this top, and you're going to press over here to make sure that sticks. And I'm going to press over here too where that cotton swab is. Make sure my boogies get in there really good. And it says leave it for... Look at that, you're seeing the color coming up already. Still positive, I guess, but we'll let it sit because it says to leave it sit for at least 15 minutes. So let's leave that sit for at least 15 minutes. It says don't leave it more than 15 minutes, so we'll leave it for at least 15 minutes and then we'll see what happens after 15 minutes. Okay. Guess I pushed over there so it made it red, but we need to get the line to come across. Okay, so it's not showing positive yet because you got to look at the line. But that line does look faint already, doesn't it? I mean, if it looks faint already like that, that line's not going to go away. That means it's still testing positive. I think you have to have 2 of these tests that are showing negative before you're considered good, that you don't got to mask up when you go out. Not that I'm going to wear a mask when I go out anyway, because I think the masking is kind of stupid unless you got a medical grade mask. Then they usually wear 2 of them in the hospital anyway. So that blue line you can see is disappearing. It should turn to a red control line as well. The sample line is showing red. So I mean this is going to be positive still. I tested it the other day. It was positive. So, but let's let that sit there for like 15 minutes and then I'll come back. Okay, so we're just about 15 minutes out here. Almost. Close enough. Let's see, what do we got here? The sample line is solid there and the control line is in place. So we know the test is working and it's still positive. So now what do? You just take this by the handle and you throw it out in the freaking garbage. You still got COVID. So once you test for COVID and you showing negative, then you have to wait 48 hours, or you should wait 48 hours before testing again. And 2 COVID-free tests means you don't got to worry about masking up. But I'm not going to mask up anyway because it's been proven the masks don't work. and only the medical grade masks work. And that's only to, you see nurses, they're wearing 2 or 3 of them. These respirators, the COVID is so small that those molecules get out, unless you're around somebody for a long period of time or super short periods of time. Those masks, even if they need to be the medical grade ones. Okay, so there you go. Do the vaccines work? No, we all know that they don't work. The truth has come out on those. Vaccines do not, I repeat, do not work at stopping transmission of COVID-19. They're supposed to then just be able to make your symptoms milder so that you don't die from it. Whether that, what other long-term effects on it and enlarged hearts and blood pressure and things like that, we have yet to see. On children, actually, the sampling shows that children should not, I repeat, should not get the COVID vaccines, even though the CDC is pushing them right now, because it has shown that in sampling testings that more children got negatively affected that actually got the COVID vaccines than those who did not. And about 86% of children have been exposed or already had COVID-19. So talk to your own healthcare professional, but this is idiocy. It's difficult to find proper information on this that's not being censored by Google, by the leftist media, by Facebook, and we know where Twitter was, as Elon Musk is releasing those Twitter files now showing that it's been all censored. So in 2 more days, I'll give this one a try. This one is easier to use and a lot better than this one. Or I don't know if it's better, but it's easier to use. None of these test kits are approved by the CDC. Not that that would matter anyway, because the CDC, the World Health Organization, all those people been lying to us anyway for the longest time. And half of these self-tests kits and those other, even some of the laboratory ones, they don't even work very well. They haven't been approved by the CDC. Not that that even makes a difference. See, this product has not been FDA cleared or approved, but has been authorized. Yes, under EUA. That's emergency use authorization, just like the vaccines. No testing done, even though they told us that there was. We have since found out that Pfizer even admitted that they have not. All right, so anyway, enough of this garbage. We'll do the test again in a couple days. Bye. One more note I should make when doing these COVID tests is you should blow your nose and wipe them out to try to clear up, make sure that there's no remaining tainted boogies in your nose, before you take the sample. Because if you just keep taking the same sample of the dried up boogies or wet boogies, if you haven't been blowing your nose or cleaning out your nose, which you should, I take a shower, I let it heat up, I put the water on my face, and I blow out my nostrils, clear out my snot, when I'm in the sink or in the shower, and run the water, clean it up. It's not that nasty when you get the water there running, but it gives you a good clearing out of the nostrils. So I did that, and it's still showing positive, but feeling a lot better now. Just got a little cough, but I really got to force it out in order to cough. But otherwise, no things. I never lost my sense of taste or smell or any of that crap. Just your regular COVID. It could be many different COVID things. Some people experience no symptoms at all. I've had headache. I think when it began, I noticed because I was having diarrhea a lot, and then I was having headaches a little bit. They're very mild headaches, coughing, congestion up here. That's probably where the headache was coming from, I guess. And then once I was able to, sprayed a little nose spray up there to get the stuff cleared out. And then I was dealing with constant running nose and didn't have to deal with it dry no more. But then after I got that cleared out, then I started taking a couple decongested, like the Mucinex, the decongestants. And if I was at all felt like my nose was going to be running, I was teaching remotely, classes or working remotely. So I couldn't have that happening constantly when I'm supposed to be talking. So I took some allergy medicine, like Zyrtec D, and the decongestant dried up the nose so that it wasn't constantly running while I was teaching classes. I know, you want it to run, you don't want it to run. Whatever. Other way, good luck with your COVID. Good luck with your health. I don't have any underlying health issues, thank God, that make this more of a hazard for me. But this is pretty much like the common cold these days, so nothing really to be scared about or frightened about. You get COVID, they tell you to go home and take some Tylenol, treat it like you would anything else, and just isolate. So good thing I have my older mother. She's living with me. Good thing that she's not around right now. She's in the hospital. She had a surgery done, so she'll be away for a little while in the hospital and care center afterwards. So we don't have to worry about that contaminating her, because that would be my worry. I'm not worried about myself getting it. I'm more worried about her. All right, guys. Peace. Oh, by the way, I was vaccinated and still get it. Vaccinations don't stop it. Neither do those masks. I teach classes of real estate to get your real estate licenses. And one thing I teach students is we talk about some hazard materials in real estate. One of them is asbestos, and asbestos remediation or asbestos exposures. You see guys that are remediating and cleaning popcorn ceilings and cleaning out asbestos insulation off pipes. They're not using those little medical masks, not even the M98s or 95s or whatever the hell they are that they're wearing. These guys got to have full-on respirators with face masks and stuff to prevent breathing in these fibers, this fibrous material, which is microscopic. But it's certainly a lot larger than a COVID virus, So if the all the safety industry tells you that asbestos can go through those masks pretty easy, why wouldn't you think that the virus would? So those viruses are there for, those masks are there for you to feel better about it, or maybe if you spit when you talk to prevent it from getting on somebody. But stay out of somebody's face if you're infected, and or if they're infected and worried about getting it. I had a friend, he knew I had COVID. He asked me to give him a ride somewhere. I did. This thing is like the new common cold. All right. Unless you have underlying issues, don't freak out. Don't get scared. I live in New Jersey, and even our governor here is now telling us that he's not going to do any more mask mandates because it's hard to enforce and you're not going to be able to. And I think he's worried about our economy getting screwed up anymore. They can't afford it. Everybody going on unemployment again. They saw what a disaster that was and a wrong move it was last time, even though they won't admit that. But good luck, stay healthy, God bless. All right, so here's part 2 of my series on COVID tests. Since I got COVID, this is the other COVID test, the FlowFlex that I've been using. I like this one better. So I already broke the seal over here so you can open the box a little easier. See what's inside. We got this little vial that has the liquid in there, has a couple drops of liquid. You have your instructions, your swab, which is much shorter than that other test kit. We have the actual test kit. Okay, so here's your plastic piece here. It's one piece unit. It's a lot easier to use than those cardboard ones. You've got your control, and then you've got your T there. So you should have a line on both of them if you have COVID, or just a C for the control and no line on the T if you don't, if you're clear. So let's see. Let me just confirm that. And how many drops of the liquid you gotta put into this. So you're gonna actually drop the liquid drops right into there, and then it goes into the sealed unit. So it's pretty good. It's pretty easy to use. All right, so let's see. Is this English? Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, so 4 drops is what we need. And here is what happens when you're positive. It'll show like that. Even a faint line in the T is positive. Okay. This is a negative test, what it would look like. And this is invalid. If you got a T but no control line. And this is a 15-minute test kit. And all you do, once again, is you take the swab. Put it in each nostril, swirl it around a bit. 4 or 5 times in each nostril. Make sure you try to get it wet with some of your boogies. And hopefully your inside your nostril is not too dry. Otherwise, it's not really going to work well. And so you're going to need this again. So we're going to actually here put the instructions back in here. We'll put the garbage back inside of here. All right. And we close this up. And you see there's a place here where you could actually pierce it, you can see. And that's basically going to be this. Just like a place where you could hold it. Okay, so that goes in there like that. All right, so what we do is we'll take this foil top off. Do that right now. And we put that right there. Just to hold it as we take this. And then we'll swab our nostrils. If you need to, you could hold the side of your nose while you're swabbing the nostril. And then you take this and you swirl it around inside your nostril, then the other one in both nostrils. Let me show you how that works once again. Okay, so here, let me show you. So you just take this, put it in your nostril. Try to get in there a little bit deep if you can. Rub it against the sides there. Try to get some loogies. If you need to, you can press on here. Try to get the sample. I can already see I got a little wetness here, a little boogie, but they want you to go into both nostrils. So. Okay, we got our sample there. You go in there a little more, okay? So we got our sample. Now, what we'll do is, let me continue showing you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this sample inside, and while it's submerged in the liquid, I'm going to squeeze this plastic bit while we twist it back and forth so our sample mixes in with that liquid in there pretty good. Okay, I'll let go, twist, let go, squeeze and twist, let go, squeeze and twist. And you can see the liquid, the water inside is starting to get cloudy from the sample that we used. Okay, so now I'm going to squeeze and pull that out. And I could throw this swab in the garbage now. And I'm going to just turn the top over and snap it in. And it works like a dropper now. So all we do is we're going to put 4 drops in here. One, 2, 3, 4. And you can see as the liquid comes up onto this dry sample paper, I guess, it's going to run its way up. You'd lay it down flat on the table here. We can make sure we got enough liquid in there. Put another drop in for good measure. And then we could just let this sit here in a flat area for 15 minutes. Okay, so that's the deal. We should start to see a control line soon. And so now I'm going to wait about 15 minutes, come back this again. And we'll look at this again. So you could already start to see that the C line is already starting to show. That's the control line. That's good. And hopefully we don't have anything in the T line, and I'll show that I am no longer infected with COVID. And if that's the case, I wait 48 hours before I do a test again. And if I show again and I test twice as negative, then I'm free to go back out into the public. But I already went food shopping anyway. You know, as long as you're not standing hovering over somebody, breathing and coughing on them, you should be fine. And not spreading your COVID cooties around. All right, so look, there we go. We got the one line that's showing up. The other one's not showing up. It would have probably already showed up if I was still positive, so I am no longer positive, I believe. But let's wait 15 minutes and I'll be right back. So I'll pause this video and come back in 15 minutes. So it's 15 minutes later, and as you could see, it is faintly showing still positive. So I just got to keep testing, wait another 48 hours, test again. So I had a hope that it wasn't going to show positive this time, but I guess still is. I mean, you could always try to retest, see if the test worked properly, but these things are not exactly the most accurate tests. None of these COVID things are. But nonetheless, the line is showing a lot lighter than it used to. It used to show just as dark red as this. So I'm feeling a lot better too. Don't feel like I have any symptoms anymore. But had it for about a week since I have been feeling symptoms. We're going in the second week now. But still positive. So that's that. And that's how that test kit works. Cheers.